Hi, I'm Forrest Scharf, the Provincial Specialist for Fruit Crops with the Saskatchewan Ministry of Agriculture. Just going to talk to you a little bit today about an ADOPT project, ADOPT being Ag Demonstration of Practices and Technology. And this project is methods to improve sour cherry productivity in overcoming blindwood. Blindwood is a condition that affects sour cherries where there's portion of the branches that the leaf material doesn't come out on. So the buds never produce leaves, and that affects the health of the plant and reduces productivity. Leaves are, of course, they do photosynthesis from gaining solar radiation, and they transform that into plant available sources of energy, and that increases fruit production if you have a lot of it. If you don't have a lot of it, then your fruit production goes down. So there's a couple different products that we used in this trial. One was ProGib, that's a gibberellin product. Gibberellins are a type of hormone that promote growth, and actually there's another one that's an auxin, and the auxins also are a plant hormone that affect bud development. And so we sprayed these with different rates of those chemicals, and then we are testing to see what happens with them. The University of Michigan did some work on this, and they found that it's not an immediate impact on the plants. It takes several years before you see a general increase and sustained productivity in sour cherries. But Saskatchewan growers had suffered under blindwood for many years, so we're trying this. This is the second year of this project, and we're seeing some differences between the plots, and I'll just talk about that a little bit as we go down the row here. So this plot here would have had the highest amount of ProGib, and you can see that there's lots of leaves on this plant, lots of branching along the branch distance, so you don't have a lot of empty space coming. Like, there's usually tufts along the distal end of the branch and then empty spaces, and we'll see that as we go along. We've got healthy fruit growing here. You can see this coming along. It'll probably be another potentially a month before we're harvesting these. And with cherries, you don't want to harvest them as soon as they turn red. These particular varieties will turn a deep red, and the sugar content rises up until probably mid-August or so. Although last year, with all the heat that we had, we harvested earlier, and the sugar levels were very high. This is a slightly lower rate, and you can see that there's more blindwood in here. If you look at the branches, there's large portions that don't have any leaves along them, and again, more tufting at the end. It's still producing fruit, and I think it did gain a benefit from the application, but it's just not as strong as the higher rate. And as we come down, this is a slightly lower rate down here. And again, you can see a fair bit of higher amount of the blindwood here. And again, sort of tufts of new growth that looks relatively healthy, but some that's sort of seemingly still impacted. Here's another little thing that can happen in your cherries is you'll get some plants that have to drop because the plant doesn't have enough energy to sustain all of the fruit that it's carrying. So these will likely drop off and not develop into a full fruit. You might notice too that between the first plots and this plot, these fruit on this plant are slightly smaller than what we were seeing further to the east, I guess, here. We also have another product called Promelin, and Promelin is a slightly different formulation. I think it has BA, which is a type of auxin, and at different rates than the ProGib. And this one is actually good at promoting a higher sugar content, as well as in the longer term. They've seen in Ontario and other areas that it helps overcome blindwood. And you can see that there's some nice new lush growth coming from this plant here. That's pretty much what we've got. In this plot, we have different varieties. This row is all Cupid variety. Cupid was bred at the University of Saskatchewan breeding program, and it's a part of the Romance series of dwarf sour cherries. The university's released a few new ones, but we have some of the Romance series here. The next row that we've applied the same treatments to is on Valentine, and then we have another row of Romeo, and it has different impacts on different varieties or cultivars because they have different growth habits. But in general, you'll see this better sustained productivity going forward from use of these chemicals, and we'll provide a report about how well they did at the end of the season. Blindwood is a concern if you left it unchecked. The plant slowly has less energy over time. Some people resort to cutting the plants right down to the ground and letting them regrow. From a management perspective, that might work if you don't see a turnaround in managing blindwood. But it appears that these hormone applications actually do help control blindwood, and we'll follow this in the years to come to make sure that the results that we're seeing in this 2-year study are true over the longer term, because there's a lot of different factors that can go into what creates blindwood. So I'd like to thank the partners in this project. So that included the Canada Saskatchewan Irrigation Diversification Centre, also known as CSIDC, as well as ICDC, the Irrigation Crop Diversification Corporation, and the Saskatchewan Fruit Growers Association, as well as the staff here at the station. So they've helped in maintaining everything and making it look good. So thank you.